Howdy, Stoners. Welcome to another edition of Sticks-n-Stonez. I'm your host, Brent Elrod, coming to you from the rather chilly confines here at the No Shoes Bar and Grill patio, deep in the heart of the Republic of Texas. Got a great show lined up for you today. I know you're going to love it. I try to get this out as quick as I can because some people only watch like 26 or 27 seconds, so I got to hurry. I am pairing today the venerable Buffalo Trace with a New World Puro Especial by AJ Fernandez. I think it's going to be a great show. I know you're going to love it. Let's just go ahead and dive right in. So, our pour today is Buffalo Trace from the Buffalo Trace Distillery, like the oldest in the nation. It's been around since like 1795. That is in Frankfort, Kentucky. We're going to go ahead and glass some up here for you. I got a lot of stories to tell today. My niece got married, and she married an Indian feller. So we've been weddinging like the last 2.5 days. It started on Thursday evening and ended up about 11 o'clock last night. So anyway, the mash bill for this particular spirit is it's a high corn, low rye recipe, which is believed to be about 75% corn or somewhere in there, that area, with like 15% in rye and the rest made with malted barley, something along those lines. Buffalo Trace is not really forthcoming on a lot of their mash bills, but anyway, we love it anyway. This is a 90 proof spirit, so 45% alcohol by volume. As you can tell, it is a nice, beautiful, warm amber color. Maybe some little golden highlights in it. It's got really nice legs. Really, I mean, nice and syrupy. I love the way this spirit looks in the glass. It is just wonderful, wonderful. As you can tell, though, I mean, I am new to Buffalo Trace. So anyway, on the nose, only very, very fine hints of alcohol burn. It's mostly just aroma. There's not a lot of alcohol burn to it at all, so it's a very easy nosing spirit. I get some really nice, like sweet caramel and just wonderful notes of vanilla and some honey layered in there with maybe a little bit of like orange zest. And then kind of underneath that, you have these, you have some dried fruit and then even some lighter hints of fresh oak and kind of a soft spice like nutmeg, cinnamon. There's a whisper of leather in there too. And it's all hallmarks of Buffalo Trace spirits. As many of you know, Buffalo Trace makes a lot of the spirits has been allocated over the last few years. E.H. Taylor, Weller, Pappy Van Winkle, all of that comes out of Buffalo Trace, and there are others, but you know that's not an exhaustive list. Anyway, it's a wonderful smelling spirit, and it is equally wonderful on the palate. That sits on your tongue with basically no alcohol burn either. It's just very smooth and light. It's medium bodied, well rounded. You get notes of toffee and brown sugar. I think there's maybe some maple in there. Some really good notes of like dried cherries and toasted nuts. Maybe just a subtle hint of like rye spice. Not much at all, but just enough to give you a little, hey, I'm here still, you know? And that does kind of help balance the sweetness and not make it too sweet. Uh, you know, there, I can't think of any just right off the top of my head, but there could be spirits out there that are like 95% corn, 5% malted barley. But to me, I think that would be like overly sweet, because you don't have another grain there, specifically rye, that would tend to kind of tone down the sweetness and kind of balance it with just a little bit of spiciness. Not much. Let's go ahead and try another sip or two. The finish is long, warming. Um, you get flavors of like caramelized sugar and vanilla, um, and some oak, and that kind of fades into just a lingering sweetness that really, yeah, I want you to take another sip. Oh, good stuff. And the thing is, even Buffalo Trace, the entry level Buffalo Trace, we're not talking about E.H. Taylor, all that kind of stuff, was kind of hard to get the last couple of years, but all of a sudden, it's like the floodgates have opened. And I was at I think I posted a picture. I was at a liquor store down in Dallas that I'd seen on another podcast, a bourbon hunting podcast, and and so I had to go down there and see this place because I'd never heard of it. And I walked in, and they had Maker's Mark stacked 12 feet high, cases of Maker's Mark. They had cases of Buffalo Trace stacked about 7 feet high, and the Buffalo Trace, like $25 a bottle. I mean, for everything that I just described, you're getting it for $25 a bottle. I mean, that is not going to put a pinch on your budget. If it does, you may need to rethink your decisions in life. Right? Okay. Anyway, we'll move on. Let's go to the stick. This is the New World Puro Especial by AJ Fernandez. It is a Nicaraguan cigar from the Esteli region. Um, the filler, wrapper, and binder are all Nicaraguan, hence the Puro. Uh, the filler is Nicaraguan. The binder is Nicaraguan Habano, and then it is cloaked in a beautiful Nicaraguan Habano wrapper. Uh, so now that you all know about Nicaragua, uh, construction is up to AJ Fernandez standards. It is flawless construction. Uh, the color is a rather dark chocolate, as you can tell. Um, it has tight, minimally visible seams. It does have a fairly significant amount of veining that is a little pronounced, but not terrible. I do love the banding on it. I can't ever get my right and left on this thing. And it does have a rather large double cap. So let's see here. Take this middle band off. Now, on the nose, I get a really nice kind of barnyard sweetness off of it just right away. And I also get some notes of kind of a sweet cedar and a little bit of earthiness, and maybe even just like wet grass, fresh cut grass, something like that. Very inviting and a really, really nice aroma. So trying not to look at myself too much. I'm trying to keep up. It's kind of like when they always talk about guys and they talk to girls and they're looking down and they're like, "Hey, well, my eyes are up here." I know your eyes are up there, but I keep looking down. So anyway, all right, let's go ahead and give this thing a cut. I have multiple cutters and lighters sitting out here. I'm going to use my Cassetti multi-cutter on my normal V-cut for heels that are rounded back. Very nice cut. This is a I don't know, so you call it a double Robusto or something along those lines. It's a 50 on the ring gauge, but this is about a 6 or maybe even a little longer, 6 1/4 length. Um, I really, I think it's going to be a great smoke. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope you're looking forward to it as much as I am. I'm glad to see I already have people watching. Thank you very much. Uh, all right, I've already gotten a heart, so I'm gonna over here on my one where I'm watching. I'm gonna heart it myself. So prime the pump. We got 2 now. That must mean there's some good stuff going on here. On the cold draw, now that is a really easy draw. Mm, almost too easy. Let's see how that goes. There is a particular cigar made by one of my favorite manufacturers, and only this cigar. Now I've had a dozen or more of their blends. It's this one particular cigar. I've smoked it 2 or 3 different times, and every time the draw is so easy on it that I kind of overdraw it, and it will end up you smoke it a little quicker, and it kind of ends up making me a little, you know. So, but anyway, I get uh, I get some notes of cedar and maybe some raisins. There's a little bit of kind of yogurty sweetness in it. I don't really pick up any hints of any kind of pepper or spice. All right, let's go ahead and get this puppy started using my Rocky Patel Envoy 5 torch, which I believe they no longer make. I'm still here. You can see me through the smoke. Copious amounts of smoke coming off this stick. I get some really beautiful notes of roasted nuts, maybe some espresso, a little bit of cocoa powder. That kind of gives way to some sweet cedar and a little earth, and then just like a touch of black pepper. Hmm, that's a really good. That's a really good cigar. It's really good. It's very good. It's wonderful. Let's try them together. Wow, and those went together beautifully. All right, the cigars like initial cocoa and espresso tones really find a harmony with the bourbon's caramel and vanilla uh, and the oak that you kind of pick up in each one. Uh, really, they complement each other beautifully. Then you do have some notes of cedar that also come forward to kind of blend with the woodiness. Um, and the bourbon's sweetness kind of tames the earthy spiciness of the cigar. That was a lot to unpack right there, wasn't it? Folks, if you hadn't tried this cigar, you need to. This pairing is really like just a study in balance. The Buffalo Trace's approachable sweetness really enhance the cigar's earthy richness, while the cigar adds depth and structure to the bourbon's more mellow profile. Um, yeah, this is starting off to be a wonderful afternoon. I've got NFL. My single torch doesn't work. That was a El Cheapo that I just bought at the store, just to have one out here that I could leave out here. And I guess leaving it out here is so I get out my trusty cigarism. Thank you for to the folks over at Cigarism. They have provided me some wonderful accessories for the show. Always thankful to those people. Go to their Amazon store if you need lighters, cutters, travel humidors, and they got it all. You can find some of their items in my Amazon store at Sticks-n-Stonez, or you can go search Cigarism, Cigarism, Cigarism. Tell them I sent you. Yeah, I need to reach out to them again. I hadn't talked to them in a while. I've been busy. Still got a little smoke hanging in the glass. As I say every week, I love doing that. I just love the way it looks. Doesn't mean anything. To me, I feel like since I'm doing what I'm doing here, that I'm releasing the smoke like at the last second before the spirit hits my tongue. And so that allows me to fully appreciate all the different flavors going on at the peak of their application to my tongue. That's what she said. All right, I had lots of stories. Now we're going to wait on the second half here. Uh, my my lovely, I can't even say lovely, beautiful, beautiful niece. Uh, she just got married this weekend. Uh, she married an Indian fella, and we're very happy. It's a wonderful family. We love them, and they love us. Uh, but they go all out. We had the henna ceremony on Thursday night. That lasted about 5 hours, and then we had the Hindu wedding on Friday. That started at 2:30 on a Friday. Had to take off work. Yeah, most unless you're having a shotgun wedding in a traditional wedding, your wedding day is on like Saturday or Sunday. No, they do it on Friday. That's fine. Gave me an excuse to take a day off from work. So they started at 2:30, and I think we finally left about 10 o'clock that night because we had a puppy at home in the kennel. We needed to get let out because he gets a little rambunctious. I'm wearing my finest Indian attire. Really looks like a just a navy blue suit with or a sport coat with gold buttons on it, but it comes down to my knees and it has pockets on the side, just like my sweatshirt has right now. And then I've got on a pair of linen pants underneath it. I've got the thing on my head that the colors for the bride are pink. So that's what, and then all the groom, all their guys wear red. Uh, and it wasn't like the color of the clothing, it was just the hat. So you could see each other. And this thing got started. If you've never seen one, never been to one, they are fascinating and very enjoyable and entertaining. We had a wonderful time. But the way it's supposed to work is that the groom and his entourage arrive at the bride's house. He rides in on a pony. So we had a pony going. We had a truck in front of the pony with a mobile DJ on it playing Indian music while all of his entourage, and I'm talking like 75, 80 people, are all dancing around him and the horse. Which, hey, it's a horse. You give a little tip of the hat there because I live in Texas. And we're at his parents' house, which is Taj Mahal. It's a beautiful house. And there's a balcony on each side, just a small balcony, and at the bedrooms on the front of the house upstairs. She's up there. The balconies are all draped with real white roses. She's up there watching him come, and my wife and I are down there. We're giving her to his family, not like that, but just like walking your daughter down the aisle, and Uh, so they come up. He rides up underneath the balcony she's on, and her bridal party are throwing white rose petals down on top of him from up there. And then his father comes to me, and we exchange sashes. And then he picks me up. Now, Rajiv, he's a wonderful guy. He's only about 5'7" or 5'8", and I'm 6'3", and he goes maybe 160 pounds. I've lost 60 pounds. I've lost almost half of him, and I'm still 218, 217.2 this morning. Um, and then he picks me up. That's supposed to be, that's something they do. And so there was different male members of the bridal party, and they all go out and they exchange sashes, and then the bridal guy, he picks up the groom guy. And then the groom gets off the horse, and he and his parents come up, and he steps up on a little platform, and I say, "Welcome to you and your family. Are you here for Maya's hand in marriage?" or something to that extent. And he says yes, and there's some other stuff that go on. And then my wife gives him a sweet, some sort of like a little cookie, and a little something to drink. And then they're welcome to the house, and everybody goes around back to wait for the next thing. So, I mean, we've already gotten our full day's worth of entertainment, and we hadn't even got past the front door yet. Um, so everybody goes around back. They have a pool right outside the back door that they have a frame now set up in with a floor over it, and the floor has big squares, and every other square is kind of translucent. You can actually see the pool down there. And my wife and I and his parents, we go up on the little stage, which is considered a holy place. So you have to take your shoes off. You get up there, and we're sitting on little love seat benches that face one another. My wife and I on one, and his parents on the other. And then he comes up and he sits down, and there's two chairs to my left that face each other. He takes the one on his parents' side. And then they bring her up. She comes up. It's a lot of that. This is kind of like, regular traditional wedding. She comes up. She's got four gentlemen with her that she has picked out, and each one of them is holding a corner of this thing that goes over the top of her that's like covered in roses, white roses. They kind of drape down the sides a little bit, I guess, to like protect her from the sun or something. And so she comes up, and then he comes down and gets her hand, and they come back up. I can't remember everything that we did. All right, I remember that I had to place her hand in his. That was the big thing. That was like, me handing her hand to the groom at a traditional wedding. I put her hand in his, and then I put a coconut. I ain't a coconut in their hands. And then my wife comes and she wraps another sash around their hands and ties it. And that's how they go through the next 5 or 6 minutes of the ceremony is her hand in his holding a coconut tied in a sash. And I'm probably going to get some of this stuff out of order too. But anyway, then his parents have to say some stuff, and then we have to say some stuff, and then they untie the hands. But they've also tied another sash that's been around his neck. It's tied down to her, the bottom of her veil, that links them together. And so now, just like the walls of Jericho, the guy that's presiding over the ceremony, who was a Caucasian fella, his name was Dharma. I think that's what his name was, and that's what they called him. And he was I don't know what they call it, priest, shaman, whatever it was. That's what he was. He built a fire in his little box that was lined with aluminum foil, and so they have to march 7 times around the fire. Like I said, like the walls of Jericho. Well, she leads him around for the first 4, and each one was something significant. And I hope y'all are really enjoying this because I just living back through it in my mind. It's hilarious. not in a goofy way, but just in an entertaining way. It was just like, I've never seen this before. This is so, you're just captured. You're captivated by this. And so the whole time that they're going around, his parents and us are throwing rose petals on top of them as they come around. We have this plate of rose petals, and then they swap places, and then he marches her around for 3 times, and then they go back and they sit down or whatever. Um, I was number one. I didn't know it was going to be doing all this. I had been told, yeah, you're going to be placing her hand in his. Okay, well, I've been to a couple of weddings of my own. I know, about the father giving the bride to the groom. They're in front of the priest or the pastor or preacher or whatever you got. But they didn't tell me about all this other stuff, about the front door, all that. They didn't tell me until that morning, or really that afternoon. It started at 2:30, and I got there about 1 o'clock. There was no rehearsal. No, you just go through it. And I will give props to Dharma. He explained everything as he went, so everybody in the crowd and all of us understood it. He told you exactly what to do. He told you exactly what to say. You just did it as he's leading you through it. Uh, and that was just basically it. I think there at the end there was another throwing of stuff, and my niece has a little padded like tray that's got puffed rice on it, and the Dharma hands my wife a little golden platter, and he's like, "Okay, you have to start taking the puffed rice and throwing it over your shoulder, and your aunt has to catch it on the tray, and just keep doing it until you get the thing empty." So you got her tossing puffed rice over her shoulder, and you got my wife back here going, trying to catch it all. I enjoyed every single moment. It was all just uh, it was very enlightening and entertaining, and I couldn't be happier for her. Wow, man, almost made it to the ashtray, but not quite. All right, um, and we'll get back into the rest of it. We're gonna go ahead right here. Um, Now, as I've been doing this and trying to entertain y'all at the same time, hmm, the the cigars, like initial cocoa and espresso tones, have, as I said before, has really found harmony with the caramel and the vanilla. The oak from both have been just complementing each other like beautifully. Um, as we're going along, I'm expecting this to morph a little more, but eh, right now it is a wonderful cornucopia of flavors, and they are all pairing together very well. And it looks like I did a pretty decent job of lighting, which is many times the problem when I'm lighting cigars. That's why I keep my 5 torch and also a single torch. The single torch is really good for those touch ups to get it nice and straight. If you get a dip in it or anything like that, I always recommend that. And again, I mentioned a second ago cigarism. This is their little single torch lighter. It the butane in the tank. It's got the little fill there thing on it, and it's red when when it's full. The butane appears red in here, even though it's not red. I don't know how they do that, but and you can't even see the flame, but it's there. I can hear it. Um, but yeah, I carry this with me when I go to the Sticks-n-Stone Southern Command down on the Gulf Coast. Didn't get to go this year. For summer vacation, we got a puppy. So my wife really enjoyed the trade off. She's not as much of a beach person as I am. Well, I love Desi, but I really love the beach. Sorry, I love the puppy, but I love the beach. uh, but then started the dancing. Well, I think we had hors d'oeuvres and cocktails. Now we had 2.5 days of Indian food. We're having chicken tonight, and we're gonna have hamburgers probably tomorrow night or Tuesday. We're ready to get back to just like regular stuff. They've got some really good food, but 2.5 days of curry is about my max. So anyway, then they start dancing. I'll have to post a video of some of the dancing. I mean, it's the Indian music blaring, and everybody's out there got their hands up, and they're the what you do with your hands. This is the way they explain it. This is the way they explain it. You have one hand in the air and one hand down, and in the air, you're twisting in a light bulb. And on the hand that's down, you're petting your dog. That is how they explain it. So you're up here going, we had so much fun. They probably danced for 2 hours. I couldn't dance for 2 hours. I danced again last night. Today, my hip and my knee are sore from all the jumping up and down. Um, but yeah, and they didn't play, like the Indian dancing. I'd never done that before, but they didn't play the wobble. I can do that. They didn't play get up. I can do the get up dance. I can even remember a few steps of the Saturday Night Fever, and they did play Staying Alive. And of course, they didn't. They just kept dancing the way they were dancing, and I'm over there doing what I can remember of Staying Alive, all that kind of stuff. So that's me. And then we had dinner. Dinner started at about 9 o'clock. That's when they eat. We went over there for something a while back, and they didn't eat till like 9 o'clock. I'm already got my stuff on, watching the last little bit of TV for the night before I go to bed at 9 o'clock. And I go to bed between 10 and 11. I was like, I think we're going to have to work on this part of it. We may need to westernize the mealtime part. I can't eat like I'm starving by 9 o'clock, and then I want to eat and get all full, and then I'm going to get sleepy. But it was a beautiful setup. They have their house sits closer to the road. And when I mean closer to the road, I'm like 30, 40 yards from the road, closer to the road. And there's like a football field behind their house. Huge tent set up. Lights look like stars up there. And there was seating for probably 150 to 200 people. And they filled it up. Then we get up yesterday, and my wife has to be at where they're getting all the bridal people are getting all their makeup done down. As weird as that, yesterday's ceremony was at the Arboretum down in Dallas, and so the people came from out of town. They had an Airbnb set up. Was my niece and her now husband. They live in Houston currently because he's almost 2 years into his 4-year residency. He is a neurologist. She did well all the way around. He is probably the nicest guy. She is one that multiple people have described her this way, and that includes me. You will never find a sweeter spirit and a more giving heart than she has, and he's just about like her. So yesterday's ceremony was supposed to start at 3:15, but it's probably more like 3:40, and I finally left. It's pretty close to 10, and I brought our girls back. They're 16 and 15. They had to be at work at 7 this morning. But hey, they're 16 and 15. And then my wife rolled in around 11:30. So anyway, it was a great weekend. I'm tired. I could not wait to get out here today to talk to you guys, have a smoke and a drink. I'm wore out. I got a day of rest before I go back to work tomorrow. And then I got Tuesday off because it's Veterans Day. So anyway, let's get back to the reason you all are here today. As we've gotten closer to the middle here in the kind of the middle third, the New World has opened up into a nuttier, kind of creamy territory. The Buffalo Trace shows a little more of its fruity side with the cherry and the orange zest kind of coming forward to kind of brighten up that smoke. They create this warm, almost dessert-like character. Really kind of reminiscent of a like spiced chocolate and brown sugar. There you go. Very good. Very good pairing. Man, I had several choices for this. Um, and I chose Buffalo Trace really for not much other reason than I haven't paired Buffalo Trace with something recently. One of the other options I had was Elijah Craig Small Batch, which I do have some. But I paired it here. You know, it's probably been a month or two now, but maybe even more than that. But I haven't done Buffalo Trace. It may have been. It may be approaching a year. I've just had so many other whiskeys to that I haven't brought forward before. I'm always on the lookout for something that I've been like, yeah, I've been wanting to try that, hadn't been able to find it, and here it is. Kind of like when a couple of weeks ago I paired the a Midwinter Nights Dram. I've been wanting that bottle for 2-3 years. Keep seeing it, people talking about it, and they're going to break it out tonight, have a glass, and I just kept thinking one of these days I'm going to find that. And one of the online liquor stores that I'm an affiliate with, I got an email saying they had it. Jumped on it. So may have been more than it was worth, but it wasn't. Like I said on a video that I had posted, I had shared from YouTube. Uh, uh, I can't remember the guy, Brusley, something like that, where he was talking about the price of the particular bottle. It was like $300 or whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to go north of that." I think 169 is the most I've ever paid for one. The most expensive I've physically had here was about 250, but that was given to me. That was a present. Still, just copious amounts of smoke coming off this stick. I know I talked right in the beginning during cold draw that how easy the draw was, and it is, but I don't think it's over easy. Now that I'm almost halfway through the stick, it is very easy. You might have to, especially if you're a fairly new cigar smoker, just kind of monitor how much you're tending on it, how much you're drawing through it every time you take a puff. You don't have to work really hard on this cigar. You would not have to use a tool on it to, you know, make it easier. If it gets much easier, you just be eating it. That's all there is to it. I got a question for all you people that are on here. I've been paying for Hulu now for a while, and I like Hulu, their live stuff because I watch live TV. The rest of the family, they watch, the Paramount and Amazon Prime and Netflix and all that. I'm really the only one that ever watches live TV, and I hate to do this before football season is over, but I've been thinking about just getting rid of live TV and just watching all the free stuff. That's just series, which is fine. I watch a lot of the ghost stuff and the Bigfoot stuff, and just crazy stuff like that. But my Hulu has gone up to like $105 a month, and I'm like, I went to these places because I wasn't having to pay as much as you're having to pay to the cable company. Now I'm getting up near having to pay as much as you're paying to the cable company. I'm like, should I get rid of it? Tell me what you think. Should I get rid of it and just watch the other stuff? I hate to get rid of it before college football season's over. We got three more weeks of regular season, so it would probably be January when I did it. But once football's over, I don't really care, especially with my Texas A&M Aggies doing as well as they're doing. Whoop. Get it going. Yeah, we're 9-0 now, and I take 1 week at a time because it has been a rough, probably 10 years for the Aggies. We'd start off good, 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, and then we'd lose like 4 or 5 straight, and end up just scratching into a bowl game. But at this point, if we lost every single game between now and the end of the year, we'd still be 9-3, which 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks from yesterday, is Samford out of South Carolina. They got a good basketball team. I used to know a boy that he now plays pro in Europe. He used to be on the basketball team. They've had some good basketball teams, but football's a little different. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a win. We have South Carolina this next week at home, at our home. So I kind of think we'll probably win that one. Then Texas. So, we're number 3 in the college football playoff list, behind Ohio State and Indiana. So I think I should probably hold on to Hulu Live until after college football season's over. Next week we'll go to a bar somewhere and watch. The game starts at like 11:30, and we'll go somewhere. Brass Tap here near our house is the local meeting place for Aggie games. So we've gone there a time or two. But yeah, I don't know about this coming Saturday. We'll figure it out. And then the Texas game, I'll probably be at home for that one. I won't go anywhere. Shouldn't, but might. Never know. But like you got Ohio State and Indiana, number 1, number 2. They're in the same conference and they do not play each other, and they will probably win out. So we'll go into the end of the year with them undefeated and us hopefully undefeated. So I think we're positioned pretty well. We've got a great defense. Marcel Reed, they've even talked about him. A lot of people have been talking about him needing to be in the Heisman hunt. I think a lot of people look down on A&M just because we're A&M, and I don't know that he will be up in those finalists, but he could. But I saw a guy last night when they were people posting about us being 9-0 after our win yesterday over a ranked Missouri team in Missouri. Another game we have won on the road against a ranked opponent, and you still got Texas fan out there. It's not good enough. Oh, they're always little brother. All that. There's one guy on there. He's being a smart ass, and I said, well, I said at the end of the day, wins and losses, it doesn't matter if it's 3 points or 3 touchdowns. It's a win in the win column. And then you have to look at how many losses you have in the loss column. Well, last time I checked, A&M was still 0 in the loss column, and you were 2. So that's all I got to say about that. And I won't talk about this too much, but it has been big news. I try to stay away from the political stuff here, but the whole thing with the dude that won the mayoral race in New York City. And he's already come out talking about landlords up there and about how they're going to start making the fines steeper on landlords that aren't getting things fixed or something like that. And he said, then if we can't fine you enough, we'll just seize the building. Excuse me? You're going to take an American citizen's property away from them. And the government is then going to own that means of production. That sounds a little socialist / communist. That's what you voted for in New York City. Not to mention the fact that he is of the those peaceful people, and they're now having prayer time in the middle of Times Square. Be careful what you wish for. You might just get it. I saw a video of these two women in New York City just celebrating that he had won. And they're yelling and screaming and laughing in front of their TV. And I'm like, do these women understand that what they have just voted in is an ideology on the religious side of it that believes in the subjugation of women? So your ancestors spent 100 years working on women's liberation, and now with one vote, you got rid of it. It may take a while for it to like go away, but you got rid of it. Go look at these other countries. You got rid of it, and now then they're complaining. There was somebody here in Texas somewhere. They said Dallas, but I didn't recognize where it was, so I don't know about that. But it was like out in front of picketing or whatever, protesting out in front of convenience stores. They shouldn't be selling alcohol, and they shouldn't be selling gambling stuff, like the scratch off tickets and things like that, because that is an affront to their and I dare not say too much, but I'm like, you think you're going to take alcohol and scratch off tickets away from Texans? You might be in for a little bit of a fight there. It will be for me. And I just drop one in my lap. Right on cue. Anyway, so you got to be careful what you're casting your vote for, because when it comes to socialism, which he is a avowed socialist, you can vote your way into it, but you'll damn sure have to shoot your way out of it. Poland is starting to look pretty good. And Ireland, those Irish folks, you know how the Irish tempers are. They've had hundreds of thousands of people marching in the streets like, we got to stop this. We're tired of this. Well, vote some different people in. Yeah. I'm not I like Donald Trump. I think he's been a good president. He hasn't been a great president in my eyes. He's been a good president. I think he was actually better, even though he had much more headwind as far as Congress goes. I think he actually did more and accomplished more his first term as opposed to this term, but he's a good president. So all you MAGA people don't blow me up because I didn't say he was a fantastic president. He was a good president. Not Reagan. Sorry. But he's a good president. I voted for him all three times. And I voted for Democrats, I voted for Republicans, and I've voted for my own party and Libertarian. So I vote for who I think is going to do the best job, and I thought he was going to do the best job, and he has. He's better than what the alternative was. So just cannot believe how much smoke this cigar puts off. It's awesome. It's great. Not too much smoke. It doesn't smoke you out. It's a lot of smoke. Love it. That is one thing I do worry about. I've noticed with this whole tariff thing, the price of scotch has been going up. Now, look, I don't care if you put tariffs on all the crap coming from China, but you just kind of stay away from the scotch, okay? Can we, and cigars. Don't want to be paying $50 a stick for a cigar. My cigar made in Nicaragua has nothing to do with the crap coming out of China. So, and we don't have any really good growing areas except for maybe the limited space we have in the Virgin Islands. That would be good for growing like cigar tobacco. I mean, I know you have the Virginia and Connecticut stuff, but I don't think there's anywhere growing any better leaves than they are in Nicaragua. Maybe we should just annex them. We're working on building the wall, and they're still working on that, even though it's not in the news anymore. But if you annex Mexico, that border wall gets a whole lot smaller. And if you keep going farther south, that wall keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller until you get to the Panama Canal. And then you can just say, swim that, bitch. So you make the wall shorter and higher. Trying to swim the Panama Canal would not be like trying to go across the Rio Grande. Rio Grande, in some spots, you don't even get your feet wet. A little bit more of the trace there. We've got some fewer people. I mean, some more people that have joined in here as we're going along. I want to go back and kind of recap what we've got. All right, I'm pairing the standard Buffalo Trace with a New World. I don't know if that's upside down or not. Anyway, Puro Especial. The Puro is a Nicaraguan Puro. All the filler, binder, and wrapper are all Nicaraguan. The binder and the wrapper are a Nicaraguan Habano. We had cocoa and sweet cedar, a little bit of barnyard and kind of a earthiness on the aroma. The flavor profile started with like roasted nuts and espresso and cocoa powder, and with a little more sweet cedar and earth and some hints of caramel and kind of baking spice. And the Buffalo Trace is their low-rye, high corn, whatever you want to call it, mash bill. That is, they're not very forthcoming with their mash bills, but it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 75% corn, 15% rye, and 10% malted barley, right around there. It had lots of caramel and vanilla and honey with some orange zest and some dried fruits and a little hint of like fresh oak in there. There was also some kind of baking spices underneath with a little cinnamon and a little nutmeg and kind of just a whisper of leather. Everything that you would expect from a Buffalo Trace. And then there was just that little subtle rye spice because of that small percentage of rye that just kind of helped kind of create a structure for the sweetness and not over sweet you. So it had a really nice long finish where it was warming. It had caramelized sugar, some vanilla and a little oak, and then that kind of lingering sweetness that makes you want to take another sip. I never have a problem with that. So you're all caught up now. And we're getting down close to the end, and I'm at 53, almost 54 minutes. So we're about to wrap this up. Cause I try not to keep y'all more than an hour. I know you got places to go and you don't want to look at my ugly mug for too terribly long, but you're interested in what I'm doing. So we're going to give it another puff or two, and then we'll call it a day. I got another one over here I'm going to try. I've never tried before that is going to be coming up on a very soon future episode. I have a little something to hang on. There we go. And I got a little NFL going, so I can smoke that one and have a couple of more drinks and kind of get my notes together for that one for the upcoming episode. It's going to be a good afternoon watching NFL. It's in the 50s here. That's why I got the sweatshirt on. I have my Sticks-n-Stone shirt on underneath it. I hear my send me, but I came out here and I'm like, no, I'm going to have something on top of that. So I'm a Texan. Blood's a little thinner than it used to be. But I've actually got now about 3 more cigars that I've never paired before. So we got some good shows coming up. Um, but as we've gotten down here to the end, this cigar has really kind of deepened with, instead of espresso, it's kind of gone to more of like a fresh roasted coffee. There's a little touch of black pepper in there. The bourbon's kind of gentle oakiness and kind of toffee sweetness kind of smooth the finish out. It leaves a nice, long, lasting impression of cocoa and honey and charred wood. This has just been an excellent pairing. Um, I would say for complexity, I'd give it a 85 out of 100. For balance, I would give it probably a 92 out of 100. Um, so overall, I think you're probably looking at somewhere in the 89 to 90 range out of 100 for my uh, averaged grades. So uh, the body, it was an excellent match. They're both kind of a medium body. Overall experience, they're exceptionally smooth, very flavorful, and they really, really do work together very well. The Buffalo Trace's kind of classic sweetness and mild spice align perfectly with the Puro Especial's earthiness and roasted core. The bourbon kind of lifts the cigar's kind of darker tones, while the cigar adds more complexity and character to the whiskey's kind of softer profile. Together, they create a seamless indulgence that highlights the strengths of both. You really, I don't think, can go wrong. This is like a timeless match that really celebrates tradition. Buffalo Trace been around since like 1795. AJ Fernandez is one of the more well-known cigar manufacturers or blenders. Um, but that tradition and the craftsmanship and the flavor harmony, it's a combination that's really meant to savor. It's been 57 minutes. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. Please hit like, subscribe, share, notify, mash that heart button. I love to see that. I love to see comments. Share it with your friends. Share it across all your social medias. This has gone live on Rumble and X and YouTube. You should be able to share it somewhere. I encourage you to do it. And I encourage you to go to the Amazon store, Sticks-n-Stonez, STICKS-N-Stones, and pick yourself up a nice Sticks-n-Stone shirt, especially the Here Am I, Send Me. That's been my bestseller. People love it. It's got the Isaiah 6 Bible verse on the back. And the Lord said, I'm paraphrasing, and the Lord said, who shall I send and whom should go for us? And I said, here am I, Lord, send me. Desert camo soldier on the back, his helmet, his goggles, his face mask, got his M4. He's ready for battle. We may end up needing to be here in the U.S. the next Templar Knights. You never know. But until we get to be together again, keep your sticks dry, your stones cold. Have a great day.